right, welcome to the Brockhart experience. We're yeah, stupid. Today we're gonna go over an effect I like to call the toad bass. It might be called something different, but truthfully, I don't want to know what it's called. I like calling it toad bass, and it sounds like this. Now, this process is very precise, and any little different route that you take will drastically manipulate the sound. So keep that in mind, but we're going to be going over what everything does, so then you can use these tools to be able to sculpt the sound yourself. Now, it's actually pretty hard to exactly duplicate this, so it might not sound perfectly the same, but it's going to be pretty close. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we want to load up a baseline. Actually, let's switch this to right here. Okay, so now I actually just want to copy this pattern. So make sure everything's selected, copy, and then we're just going to paste it into here. Okay, cool. So now we have this. I'm going to actually mute the toad bass, the original toad bass. Okay. So now I'm going to paste it down here, and then I'm just going to loop it. So right now, this is what it sounds like. Just perfectly, just stock bass line. So we want to go down first and add the effects. So notice how this bass high, this is the toad bass that I have. Notice how there is a filter and then also distortion. But this is incredibly important that you put the filter before the distortion. And we're going to go over all that stuff a little bit later. So for right now, just, trust me on this, that we want to just put the filter and then the distortion here. So we want to put a high pass filter on it. So just click that till it says high pass. And we're going to put this about, so here's 9 o'clock. We want to put it about 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. Turn the resonance down, and just leave the gain. Now we want to take it from overdrive to saturation. Probably turn it down a little bit. Go right here. Okay, so now let's take a listen to it. Let's actually turn this distortion off. Just took the bass out of it. So here's with the distortion. Started manipulating it a lot differently, but it's still not what we're looking for. So let's go to the bass line here. And now we can start messing with some of these dials. Now the first thing that I want to do is actually add another feedback distortion. And what that does, it takes a signal and it feeds it back into itself. I have a tutorial on distortion. It goes over the overdrive, saturation, feedback, and fuzz on exactly what that type of distortion does. So actually, let's turn, this is probably going to be quite loud, so I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Is this looping right now? Okay, yeah. So let's just... So it's getting pretty throaty, pretty froggy. But that's because of, this is a sawtooth right here, and that's not what we want. And this is probably the most trickiest part, because this is what is going to really manipulate the sound. So for right now, we're going to long press this. Oh, wait, let's hit play. Okay, so nothing's playing because we don't have a thing in here. So hit this. Now we have a little bit of sound. So we're going to add some distortion to this, or some noise to this. Hear that? Now watch this. Take this and go like this. See what that little tiny bit does? And we can actually go back to this waveform after we go over some of this stuff. Now, the first thing that I want to do is take the tune and bring it all the way down to the left. Gives it just a little bit deeper feel to it. Now we are going to take the cutoff and bring it down a tiny bit. Get some of those frequencies out of there, some of those higher frequencies. Now this is going to make the biggest difference, the envelope mod, and the decay can too as well, but watch what happens when we take the envelope mod and change it. I guess I should say the envelope mod with the decay, because none of this stuff would be doing much without this envelope modulation. So, watch what happens with the decay. So not much of a difference when it goes up. It's decaying that envelope, so it's just really, really fast. But with a longer decay, you get that longer sound with it. So we could take this and just kind of stretch this out now. And then we have this, and we could kind of listen to it. Let's actually make sure that this is okay. That's muted. Everything else is still good. Yep. Okay. So now we can kind of listen to it. See, notice how it doesn't quite sound the same with it. And that's because, let's take a look at this waveform. See the difference in it? These tiny, tiny differences makes a huge difference. And that's why I say it's very, very difficult to perfectly replicate. But let's try it again. Because we have basically everything that we need to be able to do this. So let's just hit play and then loop this right here. Let's try it again. I mean, it's kind of close to it. I wonder if we can mess around with the with this high pass. Yeah, I mean, it's sounding pretty close. Let's just play this and mess around with this. Not even close. This thing's got much more of a wow sound. So let's see if we can try to get a little bit closer. So just keep trying your best to make little changes and stuff like that to it, and so you get your own little feel of what kind of energy you're trying to bring to your track. So let's actually get rid of this bass line that we just created. Now we're going to go into why you need to put the high pass filter first. So let's just get rid of this. Let's like this. See, it's just, and the bass isn't very deep. There's not very much body to this bass. That's why I blended it with another just 808 here. That's why I had this with it. So let's go back to this. And so this is about where the distortion was. Now we can add a high pass filter to this and bring it back to where it was. So 9 o'clock, about 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. Bring the res down. So this is why you needed to put it in this way. Listen to it now. This is just 808 saturated with a high pass filter on it. It doesn't add those vowel sounds. It doesn't add that kind of toady bass sound that I was achieving before. So it makes a difference on the signals that you put your chain of effects on there. All right, I think I gave you guys enough tools for you guys to use to create your own Toad bass. Have fun. Cue the music.